Hey guys, last week I did some videos about the Samsung S10 Plus. The phone is very well regarded. There's lots of positive reviews out there talking about the screen, the wireless charging features being waterproof, the microSD card slot, the headphone jack, and of course the cameras. And it won't surprise me if this phone is up for Phone of the Year. But after using it for 6 days, I returned it. It's a great phone in many ways, but it just wasn't the phone for me. There was a few different things that it just didn't, I just didn't like it. And on a day-to-day basis, it was starting to annoy me a lot. So I made the decision to return it to Music Magpie. So what I would like to do in this video is talk about why I returned it, why I returned a potential Phone of the Year for a phone that was out last year. I've returned to my Pocophone F1. Yeah, I'm going to get a replacement right enough, but I have returned to using my Pocophone F1. Now, before I go on, I just want to say kudos to Music Magpie. That's where I bought it from last week. I bought it second hand, and there are some bad reviews about them, certainly from a selling your phone to them point of view. And that's to be expected for any company that buys phones and sells phones and things like that. But my experience with them was quite positive. They've got like a 14-day no fuss return the phone guarantee type of thing. I emailed them about it at the weekend, and they gave me a return label on Monday. I sent it away. They got it Tuesday, and they paid me back today, 2 days later. In fact, they actually paid me too much. They sent me back too much because I had a 10% discount, and they've refunded me the full amount. So I need to work that out with them and send them the extra back. But yeah, my experience with them has been positive. They've certainly not put me off from using them. So kudos to them. So I would have liked to have shown you the phone today before I returned it, but because I had work on earlier this week, I couldn't. But I want to talk about some of the features about the Samsung S10 Plus. This is the Pocophone, obviously. So the first one would be charging speed. Now, my Pocophone has got Quick Charge 3. It charges at 18 watts. The Samsung S10 Plus charges at 15 watts. Now, that doesn't sound like a huge difference, but there was. I noticed a huge difference from going from this phone that's got Quick Charge 3 to the Samsung S10 Plus. I was surprised at how slow the Samsung S10 Plus charges. Now, there are probably some valid reasons for that, why they've chosen to use 15 watts. This has got 18 watts. There's some phones out this year that have got 27 watt charging capabilities, but maybe they're doing it to preserve battery life long term. But I found it very annoying. With the Pocophone, I was quite lazy with charging because I can wake up, and if it's only got 20 or 30%, in like 20 or 30 minutes, I can get this back up to like 80 or 90%. It's very, very fast charging. I didn't do a direct comparison, but I would say that this is 50 to 100% faster when it comes to charging speed. So I kind of had to adjust to that. I always had to make sure I charged in time. But charging on the go with a power bank and all that obviously took longer as well. So that was a little bit annoying. But the battery life in general was a little bit disappointing. This has got a 4,000 milliamp battery. The Samsung S10 Plus has got 4,100. Now, I noticed that the battery was discharging very, very quickly. But that was perhaps because of the AMOLED screen. It's got this gorgeous AMOLED screen. The screen is fantastic, and it's got a very high pixels per inch. But I found that the battery was draining. So there's a power mode in there, and I dropped it down to the power saver. And what it does is it drops the resolution down to HD, and it drops the CPU down to 70%. And when I did that, battery life was a little bit better. But interestingly, it still wasn't as good as my phone, which is, about 10 months old now. So yes, compared to a phone from last year, even with the CPU down at 70% and the screen down to HD, the battery was still discharging quicker than this. So not only was it slower for charging, the battery was draining faster as well. And that does become a pain. From a performance point of view, even at 70%, the phone was usable, but it perhaps was not that much of a jump in performance from this. In fact, there was times when I thought this was quicker. So yeah, that was a little bit annoying as far as the battery goes. I think they've maybe made some mistakes there. I think they should offer quick charging, and maybe the AMOLED screen thing is a kind of double-edged sword because you're going to use more battery life if you want to power those extra pixels. I would always lean towards a screen that's maybe not as fancy. Maybe that's the best word for it. This has got an IPS LCD screen. It's not as good, but for me, it's actually good enough. It does everything that I need, and I would actually put battery life above an AMOLED screen. I know other people disagree with that, but battery life is very important to me. The other thing I would want to talk about here is the fingerprint sensor. Now, this isn't just a criticism of Samsung and the Samsung S10 Plus. A lot of phones this year have got a built-in fingerprint sensor there. Now, it does work, but it's just not as good as a fingerprint sensor at the back, because at the back here, I can, like that, it's instant. It's instant. It's very, very easy. Very, very easy to use. With the Samsung, you have to put your thumb there and you have to get it in the right position. But even if you're putting it into the right position, it's like a second or two before the screen comes up. Now, the Samsung S10 Plus also had facial recognition, but it wasn't as quick as using the fingerprint sensor at the back there. That's just rapid, absolutely rapid. With the facial recognition, you still have to kind of swipe up. But when you use your thumb, there was a few times it didn't recognize it. There was a few times it asked me to do it again. But even when it was successful, it was slow, noticeably slower. And this is the thing, I'm all for progress. I'm all for, removing the bezels from the screen, which is ultimately what they're trying to do, trying to make it all, fancy, and remove something, a component from the back, i.e. the rear sensor, fingerprint sensor. And I'm all for progress, but I can't help but thinking that fingerprint sensors are a little bit of a step backwards in some regards. Certainly from a maintenance point of view as well. If you look at the teardown for the Samsung, if you get any kind of crack on the front of your screen, the fingerprint sensor finds it hard to read your thumbprint or your fingerprint. So yes, that was annoying. I really do. It's kind of a reminder that I really do value the fingerprint sensor on the back. I really do think it is the best way to go, or a fingerprint sensor on the power button. I've seen that done before as well. But yeah, there seems to be a lot of phones moving towards inbuilt fingerprint sensors underneath the screen. Maybe this will get better in the future, but right now I am not a fan of it. I'm really not a fan. I really do prefer the fingerprint sensor on the back. The other thing would be the button position, where my thumb is. Okay, so this might sound superficial, it might sound like a minor complaint, but it's arguably one of the main things that put me off the Samsung S10 Plus. Doesn't sound like a big thing. It really doesn't sound like a big thing, but it really was one of the most annoying things about the Samsung S10 Plus. Here in my Poco phone, I've got the power button here, and then I've got the volume rocker. There's absolutely nothing at the other side. The Samsung S10 was different. You've got a power button here, way up at the top right here. You've got a volume rocker at the other side, and then you've got like the Bixby button. Now, the problem that you've got is that here I can use this one-handed. I can push the button in and out, which I mainly use it for closing it down. But when I put my thumb up in the Samsung S10 Plus, I kind of have to shuffle my hand up. So I need to shuffle my hand up to basically where the plus volume rocker is in this phone to here. Now, the problem with that is that there's buttons at the other side. Like the way that I held it, my finger always went over the lower volume button. So I would hold it there, the thumb there, the other finger there, and I would turn it on. But what I was doing all the time was taking screenshots, because, power and volume down takes a screenshot on Android. And I kept trying to stop myself from doing it, but I was doing it a lot. Maybe it's me, I don't know, but the power button is in a very, very annoying position. It's not in a natural position. Maybe if you've got gigantic hands, maybe you've got huge hands, maybe that's it. But basically you have to kind of shuffle your hand up. And when you're using something like a power button all day long, that becomes very, very annoying. So the power button position was very, very annoying. More so, this was something that I knew, but going in, I didn't go in blind. I knew that the power position was higher, the power button was higher, but I didn't realize how much it would annoy me. It was very, very annoying. And if you're thinking about buying the Samsung S10 or S10 Plus, go into a phone shop and try it out for yourself and just see if that power button is as annoying as I think it is. Let me know what you think about that. Now, the last thing is the cameras. Now, the cameras, probably the things that I really did love about the Samsung S10 Plus, and it's kind of the main reason why I bought it. I'm a YouTuber. I love the idea of getting better video quality from my phone, because it means that if I'm in my car, if I'm out and about, I can take a video for you guys, and the video quality is going to be better. Now, I recorded some videos at the conference, just kind of walking around like that, and some people say that the stabilization wasn't good. Some people say that this or that wasn't good. in comparison to what I've got right now, I thought the video quality was excellent. I was very, very impressed. 4K in the front camera, 4K in the back camera. I thought it was amazing. I thought the video quality was really good, and I thought the default mic quality was actually quite good as well. So from a video quality, video recording quality, I was very, very impressed by the Samsung S10 Plus, and that is why I bought the phone. The back camera, I also thought it was excellent. I thought the back camera quality was excellent. The camera app, I actually think the one that Xiaomi use in the Pocophone and other Xiaomi phones, I actually thought that was a little bit better. I think their options with the portrait mode and all that are better. Not a deal breaker though, because you can pick up different camera apps for your phone. And you know, the default Samsung camera app isn't by any means terrible. It is a good application. I just, you know, there was a few things in this that I actually preferred. But that's not a major issue. The front cameras, now as I said, the video quality from the front camera I thought was very good. But for photographs, I wasn't as impressed. The photo quality just wasn't as good as I expected. You know, the back camera was a big jump in quality. The front cameras, they weren't as good. But I also found when I was doing a lot of kind of selfies, sometimes it would come up and it would be blurred. And I don't know why that was happening. But the other thing would be that it was very slow. It does a lot of video and photo processing. So whenever you take a photo, you know, it's got a little clock timer that kind of goes round when it's processing the image. I find that a little bit annoying because I don't have that on this phone. And sometimes the pictures did come out really good, but there was other times where I think that all the glory for the Samsung S10 Plus camera should be for the back camera. The front camera is okay, but it's certainly not excellent in my opinion. Maybe I can spend a little bit more, you know, if I'd spent a little bit more time with it, maybe I would have had a different opinion. But yeah, from the camera's point of view, by and large, I would say that they're excellent. Maybe the front cameras could have been a little bit better. So just to kind of tie up my thoughts here, the Samsung S10 Plus is a fantastic phone. If you've got one or you're thinking about getting one, I'm not going to argue with anyone that says that they love the phone and they think it's a fantastic phone. It's got a lot of really cool features. It's got, you know, Samsung Pay. It's got NFC, near field communication for bank payments and things like that. It's got waterproof. It's got waterproof features on it. It's got wireless charging, but it's also got charging where you can charge another phone and give some of your charge to a friend and give them like 9-watt charging. It's got a micro SD card slot. It's got the headphone jack. It ticks so many boxes, and it's got that gorgeous screen. The AMOLED screen is amazing, but I just think that the whole package, it's kind of like they got the cameras right and they got the screen right. I'm not a big fan of the Edge screen, if I'm honest, but the screen is gorgeous. But I think that they got a lot of things like the basics wrong, like things like the power button, things like the fingerprint sensor. These are things that they are essential, and you don't realize how essential they are until you use a phone that doesn't have it, a phone that forces you to shuffle your hand up to the top. And as I said, the fingerprint sensor issue, this is going to be a complaint for any phone I review this year, because it's on the Huawei P30 Pro, the Huawei P30. It's on the, you know, the Xiaomi phones that replaced this one this year. It's on a lot of phones, and I might have to just kind of, you know, I might have to just accept the fact that this is where the industry is going, because most phones do have that. But I do think the rear fingerprint sensor is the way to go. So thanks for watching, guys. I would have liked to have actually had the phone today to show you. I had to send it back though. But the Samsung S10 Plus and the S10, I'm sure, is a great phone. I was impressed with many things about it, but I just think they got some of the things, some of the basics wrong. The battery life just isn't good enough. The charging is quite slow, and then it's discharging too fast. And the power button position and the Bixby button, you know, you can set it up to do the camera app, but the fact that you can't just have full control over it without signing up to Bixby, that was a little bit annoying as well. But Samsung, the OS, it's not as bloated as it used to be. I definitely think they've improved in that regard. You can choose which Samsung apps are installed, and then you can uninstall them. So that's pretty good. I think they've made strides in that regard. I'm going to stay tuned and just see what they do next year. I want to see what they do with the Samsung Note 10 this year. I want to see what they do with the S11 and S11 Plus next year. Maybe they'll do a drastic change. I don't know. But thanks for watching, guys. I know this has been a kind of long-ish video, but I wanted to explain why, because it sounds a little bit ludicrous that you would take one of the best phones of this year and return it and go back to using an old phone from last year. But I do think that it just kind of missed the mark for me as a daily phone. Fantastic cameras, fantastic screens, but actually using it as a phone, I found it to be very, very frustrating. Thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate your support. As always, I want to hear your thoughts on this. So please do leave a comment, even if you disagree with me. I do like to chat about these things with you guys. And stay tuned. I'm going to do some more videos about phones because I am on the market. I am on the market to look for a new phone now. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Take care.